Okay, let's jump right into a pretty wild idea. What if your entire financial life is a game? And not a fun one you chose to play, but one you were just kind of thrown into, without ever getting a copy of the rules. Let's start to break that down.
I mean, really, it all boils down to this single question. When it comes to your money, are you the one making the moves, or are you just a pawn on someone else's board? Figuring that out is the first real step to seeing what's actually going on. Just picture this for a second. You wake up, you didn't ask to be there, you didn't choose your weapon, and suddenly you're in a fight for your life. You have no choice but to play a game someone else designed. Sounds intense, right? Well, this isn't just a scene from a movie, it's a powerful way to think about the money game we're all a part of, whether we like it or not.
So to really get a handle on this game, we first need to figure out who's actually on the field. And what's wild is that it doesn't matter if you're looking at ancient stories or modern movies, the players almost always break down into two main types.
Okay, so on one side, you've got the willing players. These are the people who know the rules, they see the whole board, and they make a conscious choice to play. But then, you have the forced players. They're the ones just dropped into the game with no instruction manual, basically just trying to survive. The difference between them is everything. It's choice versus, well, no choice at all. And this is where it gets really interesting. This whole dynamic shows up over and over again in some of the most famous stories we all know. So let's check out 4 big examples and see what they can teach us about how these rigged games actually work. First up, we're headed to ancient Rome with the movie Gladiator. Talk about a rigged game, right? This is the ultimate example. An arena where people were forced to fight to the death just for the entertainment of the powerful. So the game was brutally simple. Survive. And it was totally rigged by the Roman elite, who had all the power. But the lesson in it is huge. When you're forced into a game you don't want to play, sometimes the only way out is to get so good at their game that you can start to change the rules from the inside.
And this is exactly what Maximus figured out. He understood the real game wasn't about the sword fighting in the arena. No, it was about capturing the hearts of the audience. That was his leverage. That was his secret weapon.
Okay, now let's jump from a Roman arena all the way to an ancient Indian kingdom. In the incredible epic, the Mahabharata, we find a totally different kind of rigged game. This one isn't about swords, it's about pure deception.
So the hero is basically forced into a dice game he absolutely cannot win. Why? Because his opponent is cheating with magic dice that always land on the number he wants. So what's the lesson here? It's the complete opposite of Gladiator. When a game is that broken, when it's literally impossible to win, the smartest thing you can do is just refuse to play.
Yep. It's a simple idea, but it's incredibly powerful. Sometimes the only winning move is to get up and walk away from the table. All right, for our third example, we're going to colonial India, from the movie Lagan. Here, the rigged game isn't about fighting or dice. Nope, this one plays out on a cricket pitch, and it's all about standing up to an oppressor.
You see, the real game was this system of crushing taxes that the British rulers were forcing on the villagers. They seemed totally powerless until they found a tiny little loophole, a long-forgotten rule that let them challenge the rulers to a game of cricket. And this gives us a whole new lesson. Every system, no matter how powerful, has weak spots. If you can find them, you can use the rules against the people who made them.
I just love this. They took a game designed by their oppressors and turned it right back on them. By flipping the script, they made it their path to freedom.
And finally, let's bring it to the modern day with a show that absolutely took over the world, Squid Game. This thing is way more than just a thriller. It's a terrifying look at the modern debt trap.
The whole setup is just brutal, right? People who are desperately in debt are tricked into playing deadly children's games, and it's all for the amusement of a bunch of rich elites. The system is built for failure, and this gives us the most radical lesson yet. When a system is this corrupt, winning the prize isn't really a win at all. The only real way to win is to tear the whole system down.
See the giant piggy bank full of cash? It was always a distraction. The real game was never about the money. It was about who gets to control the rules. The real players were the ones sitting back and watching.
So what's the connection between a Roman gladiator, an ancient Indian king, some villagers playing cricket, and contestants in a deadly game show? It's this. In every case, you have powerful systems forcing ordinary people into games they never ever agreed to play.
And that brings us right back to you. We've seen how these games work in stories and in history, but now it's time to look at the game we're all playing. Because, let's be honest, the biggest, most complicated game of all is the one you're already in. The one you were born into. The
The one that made you a forced player from day one.
I mean, does any of this look familiar to you? The 9-to-5 grind, the endless bills, trying to stash some cash in a bank account, hoping a pension will be there for you? We're all taught that these are just the responsible things you do in life. But what if they're really just the standard opening moves in a much, much larger game?
And that's what we're calling the money game. It's this massive, complex system put together by institutions, banks, big corporations, governments, and just like those gladiators, you are pushed into the arena and told to fight. But tell me, did anyone ever hand you the complete rulebook? I didn't think so. So here's the final question for today. Now that you've seen how these rigged games work in stories, are you ready to see the truth about the one you're playing every single day?
Because in part 2, we are pulling back the curtain. We're going to break down the exact hidden rules of the money game, the mechanics of jobs, debt, and taxes that are specifically designed to keep you running in a loop forever. You are not going to want to miss this. We'll see you there.